Married to Medicine's Dr. Heavenly Kimes on Ointment for Contessa Metcalfe Itch and future of Lateasha Sweet Tea. Lunsford friendship challenging moments on Married to Medicine concerning her friendships with co-stars Dr. Contessa Metcalfe and Lateasha Sweet Tea Lunsford. During the season 11 cast trip, Kimes squared up to Metcalfe during a heated argument after bringing up her mother. While commenting about the Bravo series on social media, Kimes said Metcalfe made her a **** itch, seemingly confirming things between the two were not in a better place. "It's not on me, I don't hold any grudges, I don't have a problem with anybody, but I just feel like they keep bringing up stuff from 4 or 5 years ago, and her vision of what happened during that time has been tainted. I quite often say she's delusional," Kimes told Deadline in an interview. "I think she's a great girl, an excellent doctor, a wonderful mother, but I think with me, I think she gets a little bit deluded, and I think she wants to be." She continued, "You know how some people just want to keep it going with you. It's not me, it's her, and she's misconstruing what actually happened. I don't know if she don't remember, or she just is making stuff up. I don't know, but hopefully we can move forward." On why she thinks Metcalfe would continue to have a grudge, Kimes said, "If you want to get messy, I think it's a displacement of anger. I think she has anger in other areas of her life, and she does not know how to deal with those areas, so she puts that anger onto me. I really do think that. Based on what's happened in the previous years that she was on, and I don't know if the audience even remembers, but she left the season with great marital problems, and I wasn't her enemy," she added. "In fact, I thought I did everything I could to help her, and she's focusing on one sentence that was misconstrued, but she forgave her husband, so I don't see how she could still have a grudge with me. I didn't take any vows with her. It's continuous, so it's really irritating at this point, and it does make my bottom itch." Joking about the itch Metcalfe gave her, Kimes said, "My husband is board certified in 3 different specialties and board are eligible in another, and he hasn't found that cream yet. So maybe something we need to keep searching for." Another co-star that Kimes has not been on the best of terms with is Sweet Tea, but hopes to make progress within their friendship. "I think it's going pretty well. I think that we just had to learn how to navigate differences of opinions, age gap differences, and just overall, our value systems are maybe a little bit different," Kimes said of her relationship with Sweet Tea. When asked if she could see herself getting to a better place with Sweet Tea, Kimes said, "Absolutely. I think that it would just take time, and it would definitely take some healing, probably some time and healing." On navigating her friendship with Sweet Tea and Quad Web, Kimes said, "It is difficult being that that's her ex-husband and the new wife. I've been knowing Quad for 12 years, so she will always be my sister. She would always come first in my eyes. I just know her so much better. But no, she's never said to me, 'Don't talk to somebody.' We just never got along, because we just never saw eye to eye on a lot of different things." Married to Medicine airs its season 11 finale on Sunday, March 16 at 9 p.m. ET on Bravo. Married to Medicine Season 11, Episode 14. Season 11 of Married to Medicine is almost over, and the rift in the group keeps getting worse. Last week, Phaedra recognized that her services were no longer needed on this show, and she quietly made the jump over to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. This week, the friend group continued to try to figure out where Sweet Tea fits into the puzzle. She might have to find a new friend group too. Married to Medicine Season 11, Episode 14, Choosing Sides, the ladies tried to come together for a good cause, but the bad vibes between Quad and the Lunsfords threatened to put a damper on the occasion. Clearly, they can't go on like this. Something has got to give. Recap: good cause, bad vibes after Dr. Greg dropped a legal threat, and a painful-to-listen-to song. The group continued questioning the path forward for the Season 11 cast. It's like they're casting for Season 12 with the cameras rolling. Elsewhere in Atlanta, Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Contessa tried to squash their beef. Plus, Dr. Jackie shared a surprising update about Phaedra. Keep on reading for the full breakdown on this week's episode. There's really nothing more quintessential M2M than a scene of Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone sharing a lunch break. If you're tired of Season 11's nastiness, this was a much-needed reminder of where the show's heart is. For lunch, Dr. Simone brought the salads, and Dr. Jackie brought the tea. She had to let Simone know about her sit-down with Phaedra last week, where she basically quit the show without even putting in a 2-week notice. Both of the OGs agreed that Phaedra walking away from the show was just further proof that she was never serious about it in the first place. Jackie said she sat on the surface of their group and then ran away when things got slightly difficult, although there weren't many positive things to say about Phaedra. Jackie did share a shocking detail from their conversation. Remember how she promised to donate all of that money to the Med Gala? Well, she finally came through. Phaedra wrote the $40,000 check, effectively closing up the tiny bit of storyline she had on this show. A lot has happened in Season 11 of M2M, but we can't forget that Heavenly and Contessa nearly came to blows during the first of their 2 Florida trips. They've managed to coexist since then, but in episode 14, they finally took a moment to have a one-on-one sit-down. Surprisingly, it went pretty well. They both needed to admit some wrongdoing in this ongoing feud. Yes, Heavenly did accuse Dr. Scott of being emotionally abusive. Yes, Contessa did overreact to some of Heavenly's antics. They agreed to disagree, which was huge for these two. "I want us to get to know each other currently," Contessa wisely suggested. The 2 doctors wound up having to immediately put this new agree to disagree mantra into practice. During the sit-down, Contessa told Heavenly she was planning an event in partnership with the American Diabetes Association. She said she wanted to invite the whole cast, including Dr. Greg and Quad. Heavenly couldn't wrap her head around why she would want all of these feuding people to come to her work event, so they had to agree to disagree. See how that works. In the M2M Season 11 mid-season trailer, we saw a glimpse of some trouble in paradise for Quad and King. The moment finally came during this episode, and once again, we're seeing more red flags in this man. "We're so sorry, Miss Quad." It all went down at Quad's house, where she planned a date night for her and King. The 2 got into their swimwear and went outside for champagne and hot tub time. Hilariously, Quad was like, "This is the best that I could do," as if her backyard doesn't look like something out of a Caribbean resort. The 2 got to talking, and they're getting at that point in their relationship where they're itching to move in together. However, King told Quad he wasn't interested in moving into her home. "Why not? It's just the natural order of things," he explained. The conversation got King talking about gender roles, and he accused Quad of already pushing too many unusual gender norms on their relationship. His examples: taking out the trash and making up the bed. Between King and Dr. Simone's kids, the men on this show are weirdly averse to doing normal household chores. Quad told King that she didn't want to give up her house because it was such a big accomplishment for her. On top of that, her experience with Greg holding the house over her head makes her extra protective of her assets. However, King didn't seem to care. He wants to feel like a matey meet of episode 14 revolved around Dr. Contessa's event with the American Diabetes Association. It was a community health fair, and she had stations set up for outreach opportunities. It was amazing to see, and as Dr. Heavenly pointed out, this is the whole reason for the show. Dr. Contessa held true to her promise, and this was a full cast event. All the doctors showed up in their medical gear. For some reason, Quad slid into some scrubs. Everyone was there except for King. Of course, Quad wasn't pleased about King's absence, and neither was Dr. Heavenly. Even Dr. Damon said it made him upset, so that's how you know it's serious. With that said, they were able to put the drama aside temporarily. After all, these are professionals. Contessa got up and delivered a speech about how diabetes impacted her family and disproportionately impacts Black communities. It was a great break from the mess, and honestly, seeing Bravo's squad of Black doctors doing their thing never gets old. Everything was going well at the medical mission until they started talking about the Lunsford family. Quad didn't think it was okay for Dr. Greg to come if King couldn't. On the other hand, Contessa felt like it was fair to include everyone. "I don't think it's fair for us to mistreat Greg. I don't think it's fair for us to mistreat T," Contessa explained in a confessional. T is just married to Greg. She should not be penalized for his decisions no more than when Quad was married to when Quad found out that the Lunsfords were en route to the event. She immediately started looking for her car keys so she could get the hell up out of there. Dr. Heavenly went with her, and she loudly denounced Contessa for continuing to involve the Lunsaccords. "Contessa, get some help, baby," Heavenly said on her way out of the health fair. As Quad and Heavenly left, Greg and Sweet Tea arrived. Immediately, Dr. Greg got pulled outside by the men, and Sweet Tea got swarmed by the ladies. Everyone seemed to be feeling the pressure to get this mess figured out in a way that works for everyone. "We missed you the other night at Quad's house, and we wanted to just make sure that you are feeling safe in this group," Contessa asked T. "Sometimes, mentally not always safe," Sweet Tea replied. Outside, the men of Married to Medicine asked Dr. G about his plans for King. They had all agreed that Greg went too far, but Greg said he wasn't willing to ease up with his legal threats. All of this could have been avoided if they just never went to that stupid sandbar in Key West. "I'm not willing to be disrespected and do nothing about it," he explained. At the end of the episode, Greg finally said something worthwhile. He wondered if he was doing the right thing by being a part of the show. Obviously, we all know the answer to this question, but it seems like he's getting closer to figuring it out for himself.